Genesis chapter 17. That covenant was for Israel only. Giving all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH. And what I'll do is I'll try to read I may read the whole chapter, or I may jump around or speak on some of the verses here and there. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. Anyway, there was a video that came up concerning you had Vocab Malone and you had Hassad. I don't know what his rank is, brothers, side elders, whatever his rank is. Vocab was bringing up scriptures. He was speaking about the covenant, and he brought up one covenant, one scripture where it speaks about the covenant, and he applied it. He used a wide paintbrush and painted all the nations with that covenant. Now, when you look up the word covenant, you do a word search, like we would go to Blue Letter. That's a go-to site. But anyway, if you put the word covenant or covenant, you'll get a couple hundred times the word covenant is mentioned in the scriptures. And I believe the first one, or at least the first two or three, there was one covenant that was given to Noah, and that covenant was for Noah and his sons and their wives. So Vocab pretty much said, well, that means that every nation could be saved because of this covenant. Well, that covenant was an agreement with Noah and his sons. That's why they were saved. They were delivered from the deluge, the flood, and they had to re-people the earth. So the Most High blessed them, him and his sons, to re-people the earth. Then he gave another covenant. He gave him the rainbow, and he said, this is a sign of the covenant, that it will not destroy the earth anymore by flood. And that covenant went to all flesh, men, women, animals. So that was a covenant that the Most High made between himself and mankind and the animals. That's a different covenant. Then you had the covenant of circumcision, which was given to Abraham for any male child that comes from his loins, or any servants, because Abraham had servants. And by the way, the word blessing, the Most High blessed him. The word blessing, when you look up the word blessing, and I was going over it, the word blessing means, when you see a so-called black woman go to another black woman saying, have a blessed day. Well, she's really saying, what she don't know that she's saying is, she's really conveying that may you have slaves. Because a true blessing is to be on top of everybody. Like the super elite, the super rich, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers. I'm not talking about Jeff Bezos and he's the richest man in the world. Yeah, really? Okay. The super rich don't want you to know that they're the super rich. They don't want you to know them. The Rothschilds is not going to do. They had an MTV Cribs. We're at the Rothschilds' house. No, they don't want that. They don't want you to know that they're the richest, or the Oppenheimers, or the Langolos, which I believe are the Rothschilds as well, that line. But anyway, they have people bow to them. kiss their ring. You can say that the Pope is blessed because people see the Pope and they get on their knees and they kiss the ring, like this jackass Sammy Sosa, that clown. Anyway, true blessing is for you to have slaves. So no Israelite is blessed here. They might be doing well, like Floyd. Floyd's not blessed. Floyd's got money, but he's not blessed. When Floyd Mayweather becomes blessed is when he has slaves. And that's going to come in the kingdom. That's when we're truly blessed. So when one so-called black woman says to another, well, have a blessed day, she's really saying, may you have slaves. And these Christians don't understand that. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject. I was kind of going through that. I want to do a subject on that. Maybe somebody else could pick it up, or maybe I'll come back and do it. But when you look up that word blessing, you go into the root of the word. It says one of the definitions is to kneel on the knees. Well, that ain't. If I kneel down on my knees, that don't make me blessed. It's talking about somebody kneeling before you. That's why in the kingdom we speak about the other nations going into captivity, being slaves, because they're going to kneel before us. So let's get back into this. Anyway, it says Genesis 17 verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty power. Walk before me and be thou perfect, and I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And he did multiply Abraham's seed exceedingly. You have the Israelites, which is the largest nation on the planet Earth. The sand of the sea and the stars of the heaven, which cannot be numbered. It says in third verse, and Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Now, mind you, the Ishmaelites are from Abraham's seed. The 6 sons of Keturah were from Abraham's seed, and they're in the Middle East and scattered. And then you had Israel, which came from Isaac, came from Abraham, and Jacob came from Isaac, and out of Jacob came this great nation, the Israelites, the sons of Israel, which is about to rule the next coming kingdom. 5th verse, neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. Kings shall come out of thee is referring to the Israelites. You had the kings of Judah, then you had the kings of Israel, and then ultimately we will become a kingdom of priests. And we will all have crowns upon our head, and who will be our subjects? The other nations. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generation for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. Now did the Most High give Ishmael any of the land of Canaan? No. The Most High gave the sons of Israel the land of Canaan. It tells you in Genesis 15. I'm not going to read it. Somebody could put it down. We went through it Saturday. That Abraham had that vision, and how we were going to come out of Egypt with great substance. And he said that the lands that we will possess from the Red Sea all the way up into the Euphrates. So all that land, that's mostly the land of Canaan. Okay, it says, let me read that again, 8 verse. And I will give thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power. Whose power? Not the sons of Keturah, not Ishmael, but the Israelites. The ones that came out of the line from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. It says, and the Most High, and the Most High said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. Now, who is he talking about in the 9th verse? All you got to do is go back to the 8th verse. He's talking about Israelites, because they were blessed with the land of Canaan. 10th verse. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child coming among you shall be circumcised. And that's one covenant, which is different from the ultimate covenant between the nation of Israel. The covenant that was given to the nation of the sons of Israel was through Moses, given to Moses to give to the children of Israel, the sons of Israel, which were the laws. The new covenant that's spoken of in Jeremiah 31:31 and Hebrews 8:6 is referring to a new covenant, and that was given to the Israelites. 11th verse. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 years old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generation, he that is born in the house or bought for money of any stranger, that's slaves, which is not of thy seed. If you have slaves, servants, they got to get circumcised. 13th verse. He that is born in thy house and he that is bought with money must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. An uncircumcised man child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people, he have broken my covenant. Now that's what Israel did when they went out into the wilderness. That first generation that went out, they were all the men were all circumcised. Then the second generation, the sons and the sons that they had, they didn't circumcise them. So it caught Joshua and Caleb caught wind of that, and they had forced the sons of Israel to circumcise their sons. So that was showing that disobedient, man, hard-headed, stiff-necked people, man. And this is why we're in the condition that we're in today. And you're going to get it right when the kingdom comes, because the kingdom is going to destroy every last one of you that can't get it. And then you're going to come back as newborn babes, and then you're going to get it. You're going to get it right. You think the Most High is going to save any of these jakes in the black conscious community? Man, you're going to have to deal with them on that other side. So the Most High is going to get rid of them on this side. So any of these Moors and Christians and Baptists and Jehovah's Witness and black consciousness movement, whatever you're into, the Most High is just going to get rid of you, man. It says, and the Most High said unto Abram, and you know what, that's why It's a waste of time to have debates with them because they don't know what's going on. Especially these Christians. Give me 1 minute. I'm back. I didn't even answer it. Anyway, it says 15 verse. Genesis 17 verse 15. And the Most High said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, which the word in the Hebrew is Sarayah, which means my princess, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarayah, but Sarah, which means princess. Sarayah or Sarai is my princess. Shall her name. And did not she have slaves? Well, she had a Hagar, right? Look, why? Because she was blessed. And she was the one that told Hagar to go lay down with her husband Abraham, and she had and the slave had to do it. Even Leah and Rachel had 2 handmaids, and Jacob was laying down with all of them, all 4 of them. Now the 2 handmaids of Leah and Rachel, they didn't have a choice in the matter. Anyway, it says, and I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yeah, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. And what does it mean by a mother of nations? Who came out of her? Israel. Kings of people, Israelites, shall be of her. Nation of kings and priests, or kingdom of priests. Then Abram fell upon his face and laughed and said, and by the way, the name Isaac is Yatazakak, which means laughter. Because Abraham laughed because he was 99 years old, and Sarah also laughed, and the angels heard Sarah laugh, or knew that Sarah laughed, and said, why do you laugh? She said, no, I didn't laugh, which he was a liar. And said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? Because he was 99. He said, this same time next year you shall have a son. And shall Sarah that is 90 years old, because that time she was 89, and the following year she would have been 90 years old. And Abraham said unto the Most High, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. Why did he say that? Because that was the only son that he had. '19 verse. And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed. And and by the way, Abraham fell out the truth, because he laughed and questioned the Lord. So a lot of these great men fell out the truth. Abraham is not in the truth no more. Oh, Peter's not the disciple, the one of the 12. He fell out the truth because he denied the Lord. You can't go wrong if you're sticking with GMS, because we're teaching you this, breaking down the scriptures the right way. It's 19 verse. And the Most High says, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, which in the Hebrew is Yetazakak, which means laughter. And Christians don't know this. That's why when you deal with them Christians, when you come across certain names, ask them what the names, and I don't know, you tell me. That's what they say, Jake, you tell me. When somebody says you tell me, that means they don't know. They got too much pride. They don't want to say, well, I don't know. You tell me. So you say, well, because you don't know, right? No, I know, but I want you to tell. That's you. I want to say that N-word, brother. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, everlasting, everlasting. So we're gonna receive the blessings of this covenant, and part of the blessings of this covenant is to have slaves, and with his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him. Yeah, because Ishmael got some power, and they got slaves in the Middle East. You know, when certain there were pictures of baby Bush bowing down, kissing the hand, and I believe Papa Bush, because these dudes are, you know, are multi-billionaires and trillionaires because of the oil. It says, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I bless him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant, so did Ishmael receive that covenant, that special covenant? No. He said, I'm going to bless him. I'm going to make him a great nation. 12 princes will come out of him. But my covenant, singular, will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time next year. And he left off talking with him, and the Most High went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, slaves, and slaves that have children with other slaves, those children become slaves. You know, when in slavery, in chattel slavery in America, when you came over here to serve slavery against your will, and you fell in love with a woman, and you had children, guess who owned them children? Esau, the so-called white man. And the same thing's gonna happen in the kingdom. It said, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcise the flesh of their foreskin, in the self same day as the Most High had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. He was an old man, 1 year shy of 100 years old, and he's circumcised. So he was uncircumcised. All the people before him were uncircumcised. Noah was uncircumcised. So the covenant of circumcision came by way of the Most High to Abraham. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the south same day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house, born in the house, and bought with money slaves of the stranger, were circumcised with him. Let me read the 20th verse again. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Let me read the 2019 verse. And the Most High says, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant, singular, going to one group of people, with him for an everlasting covenant. So when Vocab was talking about the covenant between Noah and his sons, right, there was that was a covenant with them. Then you had a covenant of circumcision. Then you had the covenant that was given to the children of Israel, which came out of the loins of Abraham. This is not hard, Vocab. And with his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will be and Ishmael's not going to be blessed in the kingdom. The only people that's going to be blessed in the kingdom are the Israelites, because all the other nations are going to bow down to us. Are they going to be fruitful? Are they going to be happy? Yes, they're going to be happy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. The manifestation of the sons of God. They're waiting for the blessings of the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. It said, and will make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he begat, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, or through Isaac. Now you might say, well, Esau is one of the sons of Isaac too. Yeah, but when you go to Romans the 9th chapter, it tells you. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Let's go to it. Romans the 9th chapter is one of my favorite chapters. I'm gonna go right to the point. Romans 9 verse 6. Not as though the word of the Most High have taken on effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel, meaning the ones that's going to ultimately be saved are the elect of Israel, the Israel of the Most High. 7th verse. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham. Abraham had how many seeds? 8 seeds. Ishmael is number 1 seed. Isaac number 2. The 6 sons of Keturah. And they are all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And we just read that in Genesis 17. So now you might say, okay, well, Esau is one of the sons of Isaac, so he's going to be blessed too. Well, let's read on. That is, they which are of the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Father, but the children of the promise. Promise was given to who? Abraham. Accounted for the seed, the blessed seed. For this is the word of promise. After this time I will come, and Sarah, we just read about that, shall have a son, which is Isaac. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, or choose. It was written, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. The elder is Esau. So ultimately, that already happened during the time of King David, but you're going to serve us again. As is written, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? This is for vocab. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. 15th verse. For he saith unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth. And that's what the so-called Jews are doing, bound at the wall and calling themselves keeping the commandments. That's not going to get you delivered. You got to be of the seed, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.